She is presenting her evidence. You are not wrong. We had so much chocolate and baklava. I like both of those things. I can't have any more though today. Feels bad. Good morning, Max. Oh yeah, good morning, sweeties. You don't seem like your usual sparkling self today. I'm always like this before I go in front of an audience. I'm working up to it. Don't get nervous, Maxie. Here, have a glass of milk. It's my milk. How fabulous. My sweetie pie princess. You came to watch my performance today. Of course I did. Mo told me that I should come and watch this. Mo said that? So what kind of performance will you put on today? Let me guess, you'll fly at the end? It's not that kind of show. Isn't that right, my sweeties? Huh? I think my sweetie pie princess doesn't... Yeah, she doesn't seem to realize what's going on, or even where she is. Well, Max, it looks like it's time to raise the curtain. I'll see you later. Today, I'm just a member of the audience. Fabulous. Enjoy yourself out there. Good luck, Max. You're the best. Regina's different, don't you think, Nick? Top of the morning to ya. Top of the morning to ya, lads and lasses. Everybody, let's get ready to get stuck in legal limbo. How low can you go? Shut up, Mo. No one likes you. Mo. Top of the morning to you, governor. Top of the morning. That's the ticket. Attacking the day starts with energy in the morning. The early bird gets the worm. But then again, worms lack higher brain function. Here, Max, I brought you a present. Have some milk. Oh my, thanks. So how are you today, right? Well, I've got the feeling that today I'm going to face off against the real culprit. You mean Acro? Yeah, that's who I'm thinking it is, actually. Huh? You think he did it? Be careful. He's used to putting his life on the line, literally. He's got guts to spare. All I've got to worry about is how thin the tightrope is. I'm used to it already. It just means that I won't be able to press him like I can other witnesses. What are you going to do then, Nick? I guess today we'll just have to do without our usual psychological warfare. Today we rely on evidence. It's the only way we'll get past Acro into the truth. You're right, but it's going to be tough. Thank you, T-Dog, for the 23 months. Welcome back. Anyways, I want you to make sure that Regina sees it all today. It's important. Then she'll finally have to deal with the reality of what happened to her father. You want us to make sure Regina watches? Yes. That's why I brought her here to court today. What's that supposed to mean? She needs to know that when people die, they don't just become stars. I may be an old-fashioned clown, but I don't believe in people becoming stars. What's wrong with letting her believe that? It's wholesome. When Mo's, like, not trying to be funny, he's actually not a bad character. But when he's trying to be funny, he's terrible. Prosecution is ready. The defense is ready. Very well, Ms. Von Karma. You may proceed with your case. Prosecution would like to revise its previous theory of events. Whoops. One that saw Maximilian Galactica fly off from the scene of the crime. Order, order! I had a feeling something like this would come up. Due to this revision, we are now prepared to explain how the defendant flew that night. I'm not skipping on purpose, for fuck's sakes. An explanation the prosecution will present if the need so arises. In fact, my detective stayed up all night. Oh man, poor Gumshoe. Creating a mock-up of the scene on my orders. Poor Gumshoe. Very well. Please call your witness to the stand. Time to get to work, or shall I say, time to walk the courtroom tightrope. God, he's got his birds. Name and occupation, Ken Dingling, but everyone calls me Acro. I'm employed as an acrobat at the Berry Big Circus. Where were you at the night of the crime? I was in my room that night. If you look at the map, you will see the witness's room is near the crime scene. My room is on the 3rd floor. The crime scene is below my window. The night of the crime, the witness saw something quite shocking. Would you tell us what you witnessed? Testimony, let's go, baby. It was just after 10 p.m. and I was resting in my bed. Around that time, I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. Then a few moments later, I saw someone flying right by my window. It was Max Galactica. I only saw him from behind, but that's who it looked like. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. This witness's testimony matches up exactly with that of the clown. If that's the case, there is very little the prosecution need add. All that's left is to explain how the defendant disappeared into the sky that night. Before we get that far, I'd like to cross-examine the witness. A foolish choice by a foolish shut-up. A man must know the proper timing for things, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Just like your old friend, Mr. Miles Edgeworth did. Mr. Wright, do you have a problem with the witness's testimony? In the words of Ms. Von Karma, may I quote yesterday's proceedings? There's no way that actually happened. Very well. You may proceed with your cross-examination. Aw, yeah, let's go. Let's cue it up, chat. Cue me up inside. You said that you were resting in bed. One would thus assume that you turned the lights off in your room, correct? That's correct, but there are safety lights around the outside of the lodging house. It's so bright, sometimes it can make it hard to sleep. If that's the case, wouldn't it be a good idea to close the curtains? I never really thought of that. I guess that means I'm off to buy some curtains. Haha. Sometimes I do make myself useful in these chambers. Ow! The witness will proceed with his testimony. Stop whipping people. It's just daily sub-count, Toonfish. Also, hi, Toonfish. Your room is on the 3rd floor, right? 72 head pats were given today. Yes. And you said that you were resting in bed. That is correct, but you were still able to hear a sound from outside? I was indeed. Pressing acro doesn't seem to get results. But maybe something was contradictory in what he said just now. There is a huge contradiction with the testimony that was just given. If there's a contradiction, then prove it with evidence. Do you have any evidence to support your claim of a contradiction? Wait, what did he say? I don't remember. Fuck. What do you mean I'm not reading everything? You can hear me read shit. You baka? I just have terrible memory. I hate when the judge doesn't repeat the last line, so I know what to look for. You heard a thunk, a thud, a thwomp. Am I okay? Yes. How are you? Whatever, I'll just pick the wrong thing, because I don't know what he said. Oh, I didn't even get punished for that. Are you sure it was a human being? It could have been a mannequin, or perhaps a large action figure. Well, setting aside the possibility of a mannequin, an action figure is plausible. You have no need to mince words with Mr. Phoenix Wright. Testify to the truth and only the truth, just as if we were there with you that night. I believe it was a human. Damn, I just strengthened his testimony. I wonder if Acro's statement jives with the facts. What if it was the bust? Could have been this. No, that's not right either. Not bad thinking, though. Thank you, Devin, for the 18 months. Welcome back. There's no penalties, so, like, there's no harm in trying shit. No. I picked that on another option, not that option. The light in your room was turned off then, right? That's true, I was going to bed after all. So with the lights off, you were still able to clearly see a human fly by your window? The safety lights lit things up enough for me to see, but honestly, there was only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my window. It was the person's back, so I couldn't see the white roses on the front. Did you see any of the other symbols? I clearly saw the silk hat, as well as the cloak wrapped around his body. I'm convinced that the person I saw was Max Galactica. Nah. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. When did you start thinking that what you saw wasn't a dream? That's not important. I believe that the prosecution has done a bit of maintenance on the witness's memory. Just to make sure, let's ask the witness. Sustained. Don't sustain that. Hacker must be lying about what he saw, right? Of course he is. Ho-hum. What did you miss? Nothing. I just started this trial. Saw that I thought I was dreaming. I want to use the bust again on this one. I'm like convinced it's the bust. Again, no penalties, so might as well. Nope. Damn. This one's actually kind of hard. Thanks again, Devin. Yeah, there's like nothing obviously wrong with this one. Because, yeah, Mo mentioned a large thump. He also mentioned flying. I also assumed it was Max. Only saw him from behind. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. Thank you, Okami, for the 51 months. Welcome back. Perhaps the silhouette Acro saw was a badge? No! No, it wasn't. Maya's not even being very helpful. He's usually good for a little bit of a hint. Like, yes, it was just after 10, that's accurate. Like, this one is fine, this one is fine. guess I'd pick this one just to prove it's not Max. Yeah, he doesn't mind the birds pecking his face and his hair and his neck. He's chill. What's the CE theme? Where's Mia? Literally dead. She died in the first game. Oh, cross-examination theme. That makes sense. I mean, people can't fly, so maybe I'd prove that wrong somehow. I know I talked with Max and he said he uses rope. I don't know. Taking some slightly educated guesses here. This one's really hard. There's really nothing obvious. Or is there? No, there's not. Saw that, I thought I was dreaming. Pretty sure that has nothing to do with anything. I don't know. I guess a loud enough thump he could have heard from the third floor. £20 box, pepper, Grand Prix photo, note, bust. I don't know Draconian. That all seems pretty solid to me. A monkey, a lion, and two birds walk into a bar. To me, his testimony seems pretty airtight. I know no testimony is actually airtight, but this one seems pretty damn good. Especially since I can't actually press him. I can only just straight up show evidence. Feels like I'm guessing. Because the game won't let me press him. I mean, this guy's like super in a wheelchair. Chad, give me a hint. Stuck. I don't want to just stare at this for like half an hour. I just want to know which line of dialogue I have to be on. Vulva. The one that's a contradiction. Wow, thanks. The fourth statement, so this one. That's true, I was going to bed after all. But with the lights off, you were still able to clearly see a human fly by your window. The safety lights lit things up enough for me to see, but honestly, there was only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my window. It was the person's back, so I couldn't see the white roses on the front. I mean, there were no white roses. Phoenix think. You claim to have seen the exact same thing Mo saw that night. Do you stand by that? Forgot his hat was dropped. What do you mean? The silk hat. What about the silk hat? I saw it on Max's head as he flew by my window. Well, you should have tried looking down out of your window that night. That would have been quite difficult considering the state I'm in. Just looking outside of the window was a tough enough challenge for me. That's a shame, because you would have noticed the silk hat found on the scene. That's the ringmaster's hat, right? Afraid not. No matter how you look at it, this is Max's silk hat. Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Are you saying that Max has 2 silk hats? Genius. Thank you, Blue Solid. Thank you for the 3 months, dude. The judge is a genius. No, this is a handmade, one-of-a-kind model made only for Maximilian Galactica. Which means, Acro, that you've been fibbing on the stand. Fibber in the stand. Give him a bib. As always, it looks like someone just had to open their mouth before thinking. Are you okay, Nick? Well, I opened my big mouth, and now I have to back it up. How about it, Mr. Wright? What would cause this witness to commit perjury in this court today? Obviously, Acro's the real culprit. Your Honor, on this occasion, the defense accuses Acro himself. On this occasion, accuses Acro? What in the world are you accusing him of? Thank you, Lane Lynn, for the 9 months. Happy sub, baby. Obviously, we accuse him of the murder of Mr. Russell Berry. Mr. Wright, are you cereal? Deadly cereal, Your Honor. Ha ha ha. I think your trips to the circus have served you well, yeah? You seem to have learned how to try and grab at an audience's heart and mind. Your Honor, don't allow yourself to be swayed by theatrics. Trying to wow the crowd with smoke and mirrors is the oldest bluff in the book. Really? If you don't believe me, just look at the witness. Chad, are you wowed at all? He's calm enough for it to almost be scary. He is staying rather calm and collected. Mr. Dingling, do you have any response to the defense's accusation? I don't really need to say a thing, do I? What do you mean? Everyone, take a good look at me. I can't even stand up by myself, let alone leave the lodging house. He did it. With ropes and pepper. That's true. I understand that Mr. Wright is just trying to help his client. But to do this by accusing me of a murder of all things... See, even a sliver of common sense makes it clear the accusation is ludicrous. Ludicrous. She's right. Way to pick on the disabled, you heartless, cruel man. Hey! Phoenix is a poopy head. Hey! See that, Mr. Phoenix Wright? If you're trying to drum up support from the peanut gallery, that's how you do it. I think that's enough of this little game. I've got a doctor's note to confirm that Acro is unable to stand under his own power. Maybe the defense is planning on making a claim to counter this as well? I can hear the defense now. Acro had an accomplice. What do you say about this, Mr. Wright? That Acro have an accomplice? Yeah, duh. It's impossible for Acro to be the murderer in this case. If that's the case, then it's natural for one to consider possible accomplices. Not good, not good. This isn't going to end well. Don't tell me you think you're going to get off that easy. What? You must not have heard that sound just now. Maybe it wasn't clear enough. The sound of you falling into your own trap can be hard to notice sometimes. I thought she was tricking me. Seems as if you won't be stopping at Acro, but will be making other accusations. If Acro did not have an accomplice, things are not looking good for you. I'm just gonna keep weaving my web of lies. Who perchance would happen to be Acro's accomplice? Mo. You don't say. Don't tell me you think you're going to get off easy. What? Oh, did you hear that? Hear what? The sound of getting caught in your own trap. What a splendid accomplice. I'm sure this accusation is built on solid foundation. Foundation. Yes, Mr. Wright. It keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse. I can't lie any harder. It was the dead lion. Mr. Wright. You didn't miss that sound, did you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? You know, the sound of you receiving a penalty. I tried to lie my way to victory, it didn't work. Now then, this must be when we get to hear the name of the mystery accomplice. Not this time, Von Karma. What? You're not going to sucker me into this one. She suckered me into it the last time. What are you blabbering about, Mr. Wright? There was no accomplice. Acro planned and committed this murder all by himself. Order, order! What the? What are you getting at? Way to keep them on their toes, Nick. Now I'm going to have to prove how it all fits together. I have to show how Acro murdered Russell Berry. That's such a stupid name. Can you do it, Nick? Can you really do that? I know what I can't do. I can't stop now. If I stop attacking, I'm doomed. Alright, then let's do it. Mr. Phoenix Wright. If this witness is the killer, then his eyewitness account is all lies, correct? Right? Correct, right? Mr. Wright, I'd like you to clear something up for me. When the crime was committed, exactly where was Mr. Dingling? It was like fucking, like, he was like right here. He was obviously here the entire time. That's Acro's room? Pretty simple, eh? Acro wasn't able to leave the lodging house by himself. In that case, there can be only one correct answer. Acro didn't leave his room to kill the ringmaster. What? Are you nuts? What say you, Mr. Dingling? Fuck. It's an interesting theory. That's it? Considering that what you proposed is impossible, yes, that's it. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. As the witness has stated, your assertion is impossible. As he is in a wheelchair, there is no way he could go to the scene or be the killer. You've got a point. It seems you've forgotten once again, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The defendant was clearly spotted at the scene of the crime. Mo said that he saw Max, didn't he? Isn't that cape also way too long? But Maya, it's still impossible for humans to fly. Do you mind if I ask a question, Mr. Wright? What is it? I understand some of your logic. However, how do you think that I killed him? If I can't leave my room, I obviously couldn't wear Max's costume. The next course of this legal buffet. Oh, that sounds tasty. I want a badge souffle. Nick, if you mess up here... She's right, I can't mess up here. I've got to give this one some serious thought. I'm sure that Acro killed the ringmaster, and he did it while he was in his room, no doubt about it. Let me save. I don't think I have any evidence for it right now, though. Because I'm convinced he's gonna need, like, a rope or some shit. Which I don't have. But I could try the bust. Or the pepper. He killed the pepper. Or the box. Because he sneezed and then the box crushed him. So does that mean I pick the box or the pepper? I'll pick the box. I love her face. As I was saying, this piece of evidence... Wait, no, that didn't count. Then it was the pepper. Okay. I'll go with my initial theory, and I don't have the evidence yet. Only other thing I could think of is this thing. It's big and heavy. If it's not this, then I don't have the evidence. What's that, a picture? It is indeed. The problem is with the item that's shown in the picture. The bust? It's quite a large bust, and because it is life-size, it is also very, very heavy. Heavy? Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death. Especially if it was dropped from a third-story window. Ah! Yeah, you can, MX. It happened in 1 or 2 trials where you don't have the evidence you need. So you actually do have to pick that option. See, this is how Acro was able to kill the Ringmaster. With the force of gravity and Maximilian Galactica's ample bust. It's pretty ample. Order, order! So you're saying the bust fell onto the Ringmaster? A rather simple crime. Even if you were stuck in a wheelchair, it would be incredibly easy to commit. How could you possibly wheel a wheelchair with something so heavy? It's impossible. He's buff. Well, Acro was an acrobat. He should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like the bust. Mr. Dingling, how do you respond to these charges? Well... Acro's at a loss for words. He should be. He knows that I'm getting close to the truth. Well, 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 Acro. You can't... Ow! I'd watch what I say if I were you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What? Your Honor, the physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we get proper testimony from the witness himself. Testimony, you say? He's just using this testimony as a ruse to stall for time. There's absolutely no need for such testimony. The defense has its version of the murder. The prosecution has the right to respond. The defense's objection is overruled. Of course. Mine always gets overruled. Why can't you see things my way once in a while? Mr. Dingling, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. Thank you, Slatamit, for the 32 months. Welcome back. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony. The witness will have no problems, however. Let's all be respectful towards him. Thank you. That woman will sink to any low to win a case. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Thus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think? Think. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries. That's what I was thinking. What is your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright? Grr, I can't let her get to me. I've got to focus. Q, Q, Q. Have you ever lifted up the bust before? No, I've never actually lifted it up with my own two hands. But I should get to it, don't you think? I can't let money outdo me on this. Money? That crazy monkey has lifted Max's bust before? How strong is that monkey? Jesus. But what have you been doing to keep in shape? Well, honestly, I've given up on training. I don't have any plans to return to the trapeze or the tightrope. But, no offense, I'm not worried about losing to you in a race or anything. Neither am I, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I wouldn't lose either, slowpoke. I mean Nick. Man, I'm getting bullied. Whoa, 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 how did the discussion turn to me all of a sudden? I suppose you could say that I'm stronger than the average bear. Ha ha ha. And why is that? Because if I were to do that, I'd end up falling out the window myself. I still haven't gotten much feeling back in my legs yet. So you couldn't have thrown that bust out of the window. How long do you think your recovery will take? You have to remember that my nerves were severely damaged. I'm currently undergoing some extremely intensive rehabilitation, but it's still going to take a while before I'm back to 100%. Let me remind you of another very important point. If the witness was carrying the bust, he would not be able to see out below the window. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Why do you say it would be impossible? Allow me to explain. You accepted that if I was carrying the bust, I couldn't see out below the window. Thus, there is no way that I would know the location of the ringmaster's head. Well, I suppose you've got a point. Hey, Nick. What if you turn things around? Maybe if you think of it sort of like this. If he knew the location of the ringmaster's head, then he could drop the bust. That does make sense. If only I could prove somehow. Maybe the box was bait. Or the monkey told him. Did anyone ever say that he was carrying this box? I don't recall. We're just assuming. As it was with him. I'm thinking the box was bait. Acro, you didn't really need to lean out of the window, did you? What are you driving at, Mr. Wright? You already knew ahead of time where the ringmaster's head was going to be. Quite precisely, I may add. Your silly hinting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough stalling. How about you show us some evidence? But I did such a good job hinting. Yes. Hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright. Maybe you should take a look at this. The key point here is the wooden box. The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over? The same. The question is, who placed the wooden box here? Oh. When Ben and company saw the ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box. Aha! Which means that this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime. I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense. The moment that the bus came falling down was exactly the same moment that the ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Which means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear. You mean, if the bust were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box, there would be no way that it could miss the head of the victim. No. Thanks, Creeper Hunter, for the 50 months. Welcome back. Order! This is unbelievable. Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going, and there's only one way to go from here. Forward. So the next question I have is, who placed that wooden box at the scene? It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope, and then all he had to do was lower it down. Ow! Allow me to whip some sense into you. Oh no, Phoenix is gonna die again. The ringmaster's head could have been anywhere when he lifted the box. That's why the box was so specially made. Indeed, it had the most peculiar feature. It was frickin' heavy, and only had a thing of pepper in it. The box has a remarkable weight. According to the court record, it weighs 20 pounds. Just to lift up this wooden box would have required... Oh, I see. One would have to squat down, then lift it up with their body, wouldn't you say? No, lift with your back. That's exactly what I was trying to point out. The box is also very large. The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it? To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means that no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place. Fool! Does he even bother to listen to me anymore? I've heard what you've had to say. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills. Did you do it? Did you place this wooden box in the plaza? Mr. Wright may have a vivid imagination, but I could never have done what he's proposing. Uh-huh. What? Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of Max's bust? Yeah? Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria. Then what happened to it? I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself. That means... You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bust from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bust from the cafeteria to my room? The monkey! He can apparently fucking lift it. Which is insane to me. The monkey. monkey? Everyone knows money. He loves shiny objects of any size. Oh, like when he stole the ventriloquist's ring. So are you saying the witness had a monkey steal the bust? Of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on his own and then brought it back home. Home? Money lives in Acro's room. Acro's room? But the bust was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny. Maybe you should put the whip down sometimes and read the court record. Yeah, fuck you. My, those are some very nice cards he's holding. Yes, and they are made of platinum. Holy shit, that's nice. Which is very shiny. Acro! Money is a strong monkey, right? It'd be easy for him to bring the bus back to your room. If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate. Thank you, Salavend, for the 8 months. Welcome back. Order, order! I said order, Miss Von Karma! Where is the bust in question at this moment? I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak. This is a rather strange turn of events. But let's say that the monkey had not stolen the bust. What would have happened then? Well, in that event, something else would have been used as the murder weapon. Wait. Then you mean this bust was the murder weapon purely by accident? It's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Anyways, I think we've more than proven one critical fact. Namely, that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer. Moron! Mr. Wright's argument was so circular, I'm still a bit dizzy. Spin tag. However, his argument does hold water, because he's a cup. There's no denying that. Oh. Don't seem so flamboozled, especially by this fraud of an attorney. Fraud? You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright. And what is that? You should know. You forgot that your fraud of a magical client was spotted at the scene of the crime. Ah! There is no reason to doubt the clown's testimony. If that's true, how do you respond to that, Mr. Wright? Nick, don't let her beat you now. I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around. Chat, we're gonna turn this trial around and go home if you don't behave yourself. When the murder occurred, there were 2 people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, Russell Berry, and the other was the murderer himself. You want McDonald's? No. Answer this and only this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Who was the murderer the clown saw? It was the bust. Dude, I lose 3 for this? Are you fucking kidding me? I can't even save it. It was the bust. He saw Max's I asked who was the other person Mo saw on the scene. That evidence has nothing to do with this question. Au contraire, mon frère. It does indeed have something to do with the question. Mo said that he saw Max's silhouette, but he did not actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw. How is that possible? It's simple, really. Thank you, Mindbaster, for the 68 months. Almost 69. What Mo actually saw that night was Max's bust. What a lucky guy. What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brain at all in this case? The silhouette he saw was wearing a cloak. There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bus. It would be easy to hang one off of the cards in the bus's hands. Idiot. Who in their right mind would put a cloak on a bus? God. Her argument is trash. It doesn't matter who put it on the bus. Just wait a minute now, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bus? That question is of the utmost importance to this case, don't you agree? Obviously the murderer did it. Who the fuck else would do it? I wonder, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Didn't the defendant wear his cloak the entire time he was at practice? Well, then how did this person get a hold of the cloak? Damn it, I'm wrong. How would this person have gotten the cloak onto the bust, I wonder? Because this person was not spotted at the scene. I'm sorry. The famous Von Karma carrot and whip approach. Well, shit. Monkey? I know Max mentioned he took all of his performance clothes off when he went to Russell's office, so the cloak would have been in there. But like, he died shortly after. Music is so good. I don't think this is right, but I'm gonna pick it. Fool. Him? We're saying it was the victim himself, Russell Berry? That's what I'm saying. The victim himself placed the cloak on the bust? Place the cloak isn't really the right way of putting it. And what would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright? Explain yourself. Nick, do you really have a handle on all of this? I need to save again, I have 1 health. I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together. There's really only one picture I can paint anyways. Alright. So you want to know what really happened that night? Let's step back in time. Acker used a rope to lower the wooden box onto the scene. Then he attached that rope to the bust and dangled the bust out of his bedroom window, directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house. by none other than a ventriloquist and his puppet, Ben and Trilo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. And that's when Acro took his chance and released the rope. Now this is when the magic happens. At the very instant that the bust hit the victim... Oh, come on. Fuck you. No? You wait just a second there, Mr. Phoenix Wright. As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this just isn't true. It can't be. It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Ms. Von Karma. This circus isn't over yet. What? That's so stupid. The impact of the bust on the victim threw the cloak up, which snagged onto the bust. That impact also caused the sound a certain witness heard, prompting him to take a look. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Moe Curls, the clown. When Moe looked out his window, the cloak had already snagged onto the bust. That positioning doesn't even make sense when it's like that. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling up the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Moe saw the bust, being raised with the cloak dangling on it. Primarily because in his wheelchair he couldn't see out of his window, so he just kept pulling the bust up. And that is how the magical murderer disappearing into the sky came to be. Yeah, same. There's not enough dots for that. So you see, the only person who could have pulled this off is the one person who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the crime scene. Acro, it could only have been you. Acro's been playing mind games with all of us. He sure has. But he has come to the end of his rope now. What now? You've graced us with a rather long-winded tale. But do you have any evidence to prove that your fairy tale is true? In this court, only two things matter. The power of evidence and the power of my whip. Don't forget the power of my gavel as well. Yes, Judge, you're involved. Don't worry. Mr. Wright, the prosecution brings up a good point. Can we see some evidence? No? Nick, they say that they want evidence. I just explained how there can only be one possible murder method. But there is still something unusual about Moe's eyewitness account. Unusual? A contradiction, actually. I don't get it. Present some evidence to the court that backs your claims. I want hard proof that you have unraveled the trick to this magic case. The fuck was all of Moe's testimony? I don't remember the whole thing. It's not written down anywhere, I think. He mentions the thud. Hey, Catamon. Never done this trial. Hard proof that you have unraveled the trick to this magic case. This. I don't know. Even the peanut gallery known as Twitch chat wasn't feeling that. Something unusual about Moe's Fuck, I should have finished this yesterday. I don't remember his eyewitness account. Yeah, can someone, like, copy pasta what his eyewitness account was? Otherwise, it's going to be impossible to figure this out. I need his eyewitness account. Thank you, owe that guy for the 31 months. I appreciate it. I remember him talking about burgers. I remember him mentioning the thunk. I remember him mentioning he saw someone fly away. I remember him mentioning that he thought he saw the white flowers, but there weren't any. Wait, people are actually posting it. When I looked out the window, the ringmaster was down and Max was standing above him. He wasn't wearing his white roses, but he was wearing the silk hat. He jumped up and flew through the air. He flew right off and disappeared into the darkness. Still blanking. It's the hat. The problem is Max's three symbols. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses. The symbols were a problem, dude. Was it really the hat? The symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings. Yesterday, there were two contradictions in Moe's testimony. The silk hat was one, the white roses were the other. But the theory I just presented explains all of those contradictions. You fool. Do you ever shut up? Max's silk hat was found at the scene of the crime. However, remember what Mo said yesterday? He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Mo saw was actually the bust's. Makes sense. If you look at it that way, then he did see the silk hat. Well, sort of. Fine, you've got one, but what about the other contradiction? The other contradiction? Remember what that ventriloquist said in court? He said that he witnessed white roses on Max's chest that night. But the clown's testimony doesn't match. The clown said that there were no white roses. I'd like to see you try and explain that one away. Oof. Oof. Of course I can explain all of it. Please recall the instant when the cloak snagged onto the bust. Is this gonna be stupid? If the cloak snagged onto the bust, what happened to the white roses? Boo! Do you get it yet? If the cloak snagged onto the front of the bust, it means that the white roses would end up on the back of the bust. Which explains why Mo didn't see them. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bust. Man, the writing team must have been high for this one. God. This trial's great just for how stupid that animation was. God, that was absurd. This is quite the shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads. Let's do this, Nick. Then maybe Von Karma will finally throw in the towel. Well, so much for that theory. Mr. Wright, do you mind? You took the time to research our circus, didn't you? Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think that I didn't? If you did, then maybe you'll understand why I think you're off track. Why is that? This witness feels an incredible debt of gratitude towards the ringmaster. But he hates Max, and the ringmaster was dressed as Max. Aha! Anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this. So he thought he was killing Max and not the ringmaster. Thus, there is absolutely no way someone like this would kill the ringmaster. Your Honor, I'd like you to hear Acro's story. Learn about his relationship with the ringmaster and his life up until now. What do we do? There's no doubting that Acro deeply respected the ringmaster. Acro's motive, It seems that this case isn't over yet. Very well. However, I feel this is a good place to take a break. Wow, fuck you. Mr. Dingling. No, it's not even gonna give me my health back, because it's lame. We're almost there, baby. Okay. I can't believe it. Acro? It's pretty shocking, isn't it? It definitely is, and to think he was always the most straightforward of the group. Jeebus. Jeebus, am I that hated? Acro tried to pin the murder on you on purpose. He did? But, I'm nothing but a little old nobody, you know? But you're not, which is kind of the reason why. Hey, pal. You're gonna ignore me after I went to all this trouble to bring you some evidence? Detective Gumshoe. Forget it, I'm going home. This guy deserves to be guilty anyways. Now, detective. I'm sorry. Look, why don't you relax a little? We've got some really tasty milk. It's probably warm as fuck now. How about a card trick, detective? Oh, well, if you insist. Wow, milk and a card trick. He's like 10. Now, about that evidence you mentioned. What is it? Here you go. This was yesterday in Acro's room. Yep, and I've included the forensic results. Take a look at it later. Won't Ms. Von Karma be mad that you're doing this? That's why this is all... Huh? Look, details are on a need-to-know basis, and we're not really allies or anything. But everything that's happened in court up until now has gone according to our plan. I don't know, Ms. Von Karma didn't seem in control of things in there just now. You'll figure it out eventually, pal. Yesterday, our final plans were set into motion. Final plans? Uh-huh. That reminds me, I've got a message from the prosecutor for you. Nothing is ever truly decided until the very end. That's it. And that's it for me too, pal. I'm out of here. What did he mean by that? I'm not sure. It was all pretty cryptic to me. Oh, one more thing. Ah, don't scare me like that. It looks like there's a large care package from the circus for the defendant. What? For me? It's milk. The reception area looks like some kind of dairy. But hurry up and drink it all before it spoils. An entire dairy's worth of milk for me? Nice. I could go for some skim milk. I'd also like to get proof from... What is this proof? This evidence? Bat scarf stained with his blood and a small quantity of pepper. I also season my bloody scarfs. Proof of what kind of motive Acro would have to commit this crime. Understood. Now, Mr. Dingling. Yes, Your Honor. Please proceed with your testimony. Finally, we get to the motive. Wait, Nick, are you okay? Just do me a favor and don't ask questions you don't want the answers to. Gulp. I like when Maya looks at me like I'm trash. When we were little, we were abandoned by our parents. That's when the ringmaster of the Berry Big Circus, Russell Berry, took us in. I became an acrobat at around 9 years old. I wanted to find a way to repay the ringmaster. That was my sole purpose in life. Wow, that's it? Sick. You are absolutely right. How could anyone think that, Mr. Wright? Which is why there's no real need for a cross-examination, is there? Actually, that's the question I'm trying to answer myself. Why would Acro kill the ringmaster? This might be my last chance to answer that. The defense has a right to cross-examine the witness. You're so tactless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You don't care about justice, do you? You just want to fabricate a motive. Yay, I get to press Q. I'm so happy. We? Yes, my brother Sean and I. What? You have a brother? How old were you when this happened, Acro? I was 8 years old and my brother was 4. Your parents were very cruel, weren't they? Nowadays, we aren't bitter about what happened to us, because it allowed us to meet the wonderful people at the Berry Big Circus. Nick, the judge is getting misty-eyed. He's got a soft spot for sob stories, it looks like. Thank you, Prototype Alpha, for the 47 months. Welcome back. I appreciate it. How would you describe your relationship with the ringmaster? Really, really gay. It was like an uncle, a father, and a big brother all rolled up into one. The ringmaster and my brother were the only family I had. What about other people at the circus? This was over 15 years ago. Back then there were very few customers coming in, so no one really had the time to look after us. They were worried about other things. But the ringmaster, he would always come see us with a laugh and a smile. That's why I was always thinking of what I could do to help. I wanted to thank him. Isn't Acro such a wonderful person? I know, he seems like a nice guy, which is what makes this so difficult. So then how long have you been a performer? Thank you, Konaka, for the 25 months. Welcome back. You started off as an acrobat at that early of an age? I begged the ringmaster until he finally agreed to let me do it. Ever since then, I've been in incredible physical shape. That's also when I decided to form a group with my brother. We called ourselves the Flying Dingling Berries. It's nearly a household name. I've never heard of them in Germany. Or, I mean, I've even heard of them in Germany. Whoops. Liar. The point is that I wanted to be some use to the circus. The Flying Dingleberries. The judge keeps looking at Acro almost like a proud father. Did you ever have any trouble with the ringmaster? How could you ask such a thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Do you have some sort of fundamental misunderstanding of this witness's testimony? Or the heartfelt emotions contained within? You better think about this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You better think hard. No matter how you look at it, there's no way I could see this witness ever taking the victim's life. Stop whipping me! Exactly. I've been waiting for you to say that, Your Honor. Nick, I hate to say it, but I agree with them. I was trying to chase down the truth, but I ended up just looking like a jerk. I think that will be enough for now. Pondering whether or not this man would kill the ringmaster leads me to believe that. It is pretty unlikely. Exactly right, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, I'd like to ask you a question. Go ahead, Your Honor. Oh, God. I would just like to know, can you provide an explanation as to why Acro would want the ringmaster dead? Because he didn't save his brother from going into a coma. Oh, this is gonna be good. Very well then, please enlighten the court. Let me just go over this one more time. This is why Acro killed the ringmaster. I was wrong! What exactly are you supposed to learn from this piece of evidence? What are you supposed to learn? Looks like you just won the award for biggest failure in court. Oh my god, Chad, I got an award. Damn it. Sorry again, Max. You're dying a lot. But I mean, he didn't know that it was the ringmaster. He thought it was Max. So, if presenting Max doesn't work, then I guess I don't have the evidence right now. Don't dot me, that's not wrong, chat. The ringmaster was wearing Max's clothes when he went over there. I don't think he had any idea that it was the ringmaster in those clothes. And everyone seems to hate Max. Or that he's mad at the ringmaster's daughter. Thank you, Kigali, for the 46 months. I don't think I have the evidence. Let me back out. Oh, there's also this. No. Nick? Yeah, I didn't even have to think about it. It was obvious from the start. Your Honor, the reason that Acro killed the Ringmaster is something that can't be proven. What? That's because Acro had no reason to kill the Ringmaster at all. Your foolish attempts to shut up. Did you forget? You made an accusation against this witness, did you not? I believe it was, this is the real killer of Russell Berry, Ringmaster. If you want to jump to the end of things, then yes, that sounds about right. The end of things? Acro, you didn't plan to kill the Ringmaster at all, did you? The Ringmaster... See? I'm a genius. What did you just say? I'm saying that the target of this witness's murderous plot was not the Ringmaster. Because it was never his intention to kill Russell Berry to begin with. What? Because the game was making it seem like I had to present evidence for the Ringmaster. Bailiff, I don't care who it is, smack anyone who's loud in the face. Twice if you must. Mr. Wright, what in the world are you trying to do to my court? Mr. Phoenix Wright, what in the world are you trying to do to his court? Are you attempting to imply that Acro was trying to kill someone else? It was fucking Max. There's 14 more where that came from. Hold it right there. You can take your time with the other 14 later. But for now, let me see that evidence once again. Irk. I'm so... Damn it. I was so sure he was trying to go for Max. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no. Oh. Was he trying to kill the child? That makes sense, because he placed the note there. But the Ringmaster ended up finding the note. I tunnel visioned too hard on Max there. Wanted to kill Regina. Regina Berry? This young girl is the Ringmaster's daughter, correct? Acro, you were really aiming for her that night, weren't you?
Objection!
You don't need to answer that. It's a mean-spirited leading question.
Objection!
You could easily answer this question. If I'm wrong, all he has to do is say you're wrong. That's it. That's it, huh, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Enough. Mr. Wright, allow me to... Ow! The only thing allowed to interrupt me is death itself. Huh? And that goes for you too, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Show me evidence, now! I want to know why Acro would want to kill Regina Berry. Yes, me too. I demand to see some proof. Dab! Alright, Mr. Wright. At this point, the only thing that's important is evidence. This better not be a bluff. You're not going to... You're not going to fool me, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What? That was so right. Man, I'm on the right track. There's like 5 pieces of evidence that all prove the same thing. Don't blame me. Like, it could be this, or it could be the lion. Acro, you remember this, don't you? That's... Yeah, you could also, like, technically present his brother as well. There is, like, a few legit pieces of evidence that could prove the same thing. It's a piece of paper that we found inside the ringmaster's tailcoat. Inside the victim's tailcoat, Acro wrote this note. It's ironically entitled, "To the Murderer." His purpose was to call someone to the plaza at 10 p.m. So you're saying that he called Russell Berry with that note? Yes, but there's just one little problem. Acro did indeed place this note into someone's pocket. However, that someone was not the ringmaster. You mean it wasn't for the... That's exactly what I mean. The person this note was intended for was none other than Regina Berry. I'm saying Regina again, god damn it. Regina. Order, order, order! Mr. Wright, this little theory of yours, it's the truth, Your Honor. It isn't a theory. A game theory. Simply put, Regina didn't think the note was meant for her. Which is why the morning of the crime she placed it on the cafeteria bulletin board. That's when her father, I mean the ringmaster, saw the note. That's correct. The ringmaster ended up in that plaza instead of Regina. And he was killed because of that mistake, instead of Regina. That's incredible! Remember the testimony that Acro gave us earlier today? Lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. If I were to do that, I'd end up falling out the window myself. Acro had no idea who it was that arrived in the plaza, because he couldn't look down out of his window to see who it actually was. I've got it, I've got it! Acro thought it was Regina down in... I did it again! Regina down in the plaza. And that's when he let the bust fly. Hey, Nick. Isn't Regina listening to all of this from the audience? She is. Unfortunately, it's only going to get harsher from here. I hope Regina can handle it. Acro wrote this note to Regina. Foolish. You're so foolish. You've even made me sound like a foolhardy fool. Very well, Mr. Phoenix Wright. If you're so sure, then tell us about this line. I have conclusive evidence of what took place. Yes? What about that line? Well, if the note was meant for Regina Berry, it would mean that... This note is declaring that Regina Berry is a murderer. Now it was the lion, roar. You just don't get it, do you? What did you just say? The ringmaster knew what the note meant, which is why he went to the plaza. In place of his lovely daughter. Thanks for the host, Pluty Stare. Now hold it right there, Mr. Wright. What is this incident that is alluded to in the note? The incident 6 months ago. An incident occurred 6 months ago, and now I am more than ready to show this court what happened at that time. Wait, are you sure that it relates to the present case? It does indeed, Your Honor. Everything in this case has its start in what happened 6 months ago. Really, Nick? I think so. Well then, if that's the case, hurry up and tell us about it. What is this conclusive evidence mentioned in the note? I know I'd certainly like to know what it is. Well, not again. The scarf is becoming the new wiretap. Scarf tap. I mean, the scarf is pretty conclusive evidence. It's also the lion. And his brother's profile. Or maybe the badge. How are either of those evidence? They're in the evidence list. Therefore, they are evidence. Checkmate, baby. I don't actually know, I'm confused. I'm just gonna pull a dead lion out of my back pocket. Plop. No. I mean, like, it could have been the scarf. It could have been the lion, because it could have been like, the lion did this thing. They both relate to the incident. Read, please? No, I'm illiterate, I can't. Chat isn't salty. It's like 4 people who are salty. They're just loud and angry. I don't know why I'm blanking. Could be the pepper. The scarf is pepper on it. It's the pepper. Chat's posting pogs, so it's obviously the pepper. Wait, what? Are you fucking kidding me? The fucking pepper. Unless this is just dialogue. Flavor text. What? Oh. Did she fucking make the lion sneeze when his head was in its mouth? Is that what's going on here? This case is really dumb. But what do you mean? This just gets more ridiculous as it goes on. Recall that the victim was trying to take the wooden box away from him, or with him. He was doing so because this piece of decisive evidence is what was inside. Another unbelievable conclusion. Very well, Mr. Wright. So what exactly are you saying? Are you claiming Regina Berry killed someone with a small bottle of pepper? Taking the note into account, that's the only logical conclusion you can draw. No, I disagree, Phoenix. You're so sure, Mr. Phoenix Wright, then answer this question. Who was Regina Berry's intended victim? I mean, he's going after his brother. That is Acro's younger brother. What does this prove? His younger brother isn't dead. Technically, that's true. However, Bat has been in a coma for 6 months now. It's not a stretch to see how Acro could feel that his brother is dead. Regina, she did that to him? Do you spend your entire life dreaming up new ways to be a fool? Naturally, the prosecution has looked into Acro's brother, Sean Dingling. 6 months ago, he was bit by a lion and fell into his current comatose state. A lion? Regina, I mean Ms. Regina Berry, is an animal tamer by trade. However, no tamed animal in that position is ever trained to attack another human. They wouldn't understand the command. Moreover, Ms. Regina could never do something like that. It's just not in her. I want to get off Case 3's wild ride. So then what happened to Acro's brother? He's not the victim of an attempted murder. He's the victim of an accident. Now what do we do? No one seems to be going along with your theory. Sure. Wait, F. Calm down, chat. The lion-biting Bat was no accident at all. I think this stream just dies for people on desktop. What? You're such an amateur, Mr. Phoenix Wright. There is no way that Regina would ever incite her lion to attack another human being. She may not have incited the lion to attack another human being, but Regina is responsible for making the lion bite Acro's brother, Bat. The scarf has pepper on it. That's just a scarf, Acro. This scarf is something that Bat used to wear, correct? That's right. And who was the one that gave this scarf to Bat? Regina. Regina gave it to him. There is something more than just blood on this scarf, Your Honor. And what might that be? Pepper. Because it's well seasoned, motherfucker. Pepper? Pepper. Regina gave the scarf to Bat right after the accident, and she covered it with as much pepper as she could. This is so dumb. Hey, what's with the silent treatment? Yeah, I like that bird poking at him. Excuse me, Mr. Wright. You've done a good job of fingering a criminal. Lewd. But out of curiosity, what was her crime? Ms. Berry gave a pepper-covered scarf to Bat as a present. Where's the crime in that? Still seems like the judge just doesn't quite get it. Mr. Phoenix Wright, wasn't it said that the lion seemed to be smiling? Smiling? The lion was smiling? Right before Bat was bit by the lion, for a moment the lion's mouth changed and it looked like he was smiling. Lions smile? I've never heard of them smiling, however. Lions sneeze. Wow. Nice job, Phoenix. Leon wasn't trying to bite bad at all. In reality, all he actually did was sneeze. He sneezed because of all the pepper on the scar. Can't believe these are words I'm reading in this game. This case is just like a fever dream Phoenix is having, right? He's like sick in bed at home. You've got to be kidding me. What's the matter, Ms. Von Karma? I object for objection's sake. Mr. Phoenix Wright, this theory, you believe it? I don't know. You really intended to say that this is how this joke of an accident actually happened? Of course I do, it's the truth. The lion sneezed due to the pepper, and that's when Bat lost consciousness. Acro nearly lost his brother due to this accident, or this joke as you put it. Which is why he tried to get his revenge against Regina. You foolish idiot. Ha 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 ha, it almost does seem like a terrible joke, doesn't it? Once again, I'm impressed by your imagination, Mr. Wright. To think that there's someone who treats this accident with the respect it deserves. Are you telling me that what I said was true? You don't mean you can't... Witness! Are you confirming the defense's claim? Mr. Wright, unfortunately, your imagination is not enough to just give up, you potato. What do you mean by that? The pepper, the scarf, the lion. I see where you're going, but it's a bit hard to swallow. Not to mention the fact that there's an even bigger problem with your theory. What would that problem be? The same problem it's always been. Evidence. If I drop Max's bust on top of the ringmaster, where is the evidence that proves that claim? You mean the conclusive evidence? The biggest problem is the murder weapon, or the lack thereof, to be more precise. The murder weapon. The bust that the defense claims was used. If that were to be found in Akra's room, and if it was covered with the victim's blood, that would be awfully conclusive in my eyes. Save, this is dumb. Okay. The bust. This is the last step. If I get this one right, the case is won. The defense requests to search the room of the witness, Ken Dingling. What is it now? It looks like you still haven't figured things out, have you? By now you must know the meaning of Von Karma Total Justice. You mean... Von Karma never leaves anything to chance. We already searched Acro's room yesterday. What did you find? There's no reason to even say it. If we found what you think we found in that room, Acro would not be here as a witness. But to put a point on it, Max's bust was not in the room. The murder weapon is still unaccounted for. You see, Mr. Wright, the bust wasn't in my room. Furthermore, Detective Dick Gumshoe executed the search by complete surprise, and we took Acro directly to the prosecutor's office after that. End of story. Just wait a second. Something's funny about all this. Ha 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 ha. It looks like you lack the final nail to put into my coffin. But what about the scarf? What about the note? What about them, Mr. Wright? No offense, but the only evidence that is relevant here is that which pertains to the death of the ringmaster. You should know that by now. Do something, Nick. Don't let this case slip away. The bust. Where is it now? Where's the bust right now? You're Phoenix Wright. You know where that bust is. I'm sure you do. What if... defense's counter-argument looked to have fallen short. Thank you for your support. Ack. I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Wright. I think that brings to an end the cross-examination of this witness. Hold it. Where is Max's bust? The defense needs time to prepare to present its lace. Max's butt. I mean case. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous and I just bit my tongue. God, she's cute. What? We need time to do what? Why are you the most surprised person here? She's your aide, isn't she? Do you really have a case to present, Mr. Wright? What? Are you asking me? The rest is up to you, Nick. Good luck. Hey, wait. You can't be serious. Acrobats always have their lives on the lines, don't they? That's how Acro's lived his life up until now. Now it's time for us to walk across our own tightrope. If we don't, we're certain to lose. Oh boy. He doesn't have a clue, and I don't think he'll be finding one anytime soon. Walking the tightrope of logic, there's no room for a false step. Sink or swim, the only way through is forward. Where's Max's bus now? Somewhere in the courtroom. It's obvious. The bus is inside this very courtroom. Where? Allow me to pinpoint the location for the bus. It's like a guessing game. Yeah, just pick the dumbest shit. The judge has it. Why did he stop talking all of a sudden? Penalty? No. Whatever, it's like multiple choice. Oh shit. Oh, I see. I see. Hold on. Let me load it again. There's a lot of options. Like, I have an idea of where it could be. I know it's hiding somewhere. I know they searched his room. I'm trying to figure out where the box would be. I think the bust is in the box. And it has like some secret compartment. Which would mean the box would be in the courtroom, I guess. Because it's evidence. I feel like I'm 50-50ing here. Prosecutor might just be hiding it, since they checked the room. No? Ow. Oh. Yep, that was it. Thank you, dude, for the 32 months. Welcome back. Nick, get up, Nick. Proceed, Your Honor. I will, when Mr. Wright opens his eyes. Nick, are you okay? Who is this girl? This is no time. I got you baited. Might be another 30 minutes or so. At the latest. Logic, use logic. Cirno think what's the right answer? I don't fucking know. If you like it, then you should have put a... Yeah. Or would I hide it in plain sight? Maybe it's like on his wheelchair or something. That would make it on the witness stand. I'm sorry to ask this, but do you mind if I take the blanket off your wheelchair? I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear you, Mr. Wright. Well, you are a big guy, and you have a pretty big wheelchair because of it. I just wanted to make sure you weren't hiding anything under the blanket. Because it seems to me that... I don't remember him having a blanket. Because it seems to me that it'd be really easy to say, hide a bust under there. Once again, your penchant for humor hits me where it hurts, Mr. Wright. They never showed the blanket? Well, that would explain it. That's kind of dumb. I think it's pretty amazing that you can laugh in your position. However, your lightheartedness doesn't change the fact that the bust is under there. We all know that you can't leave the lodging house by yourself in your condition. That proved inconvenient when Ms. Von Karma happened to search your room yesterday. If she had found the murder weapon in your room, it would have been all over, which is why you had to hide it, and the only place that you could hide it, under your wheelchair. Which is why, Acro, I have to ask you again, would you please remove the blanket from your lap? Well done, Mr. Wright. Masterfully played. Just show me the goods, nerd. You fool! How could you? Actually, two of them. Two of them. Miss Franziska von Karm and Mr. Phoenix Wright. There's just one thing I'd like to know. How did you know to launch the surprise search on my room last night? There were two pieces of decisive evidence, the cloak and the bust. I burned the cloak in my room and threw the ashes away with the trash. Regina always took my trash out every morning, you know. But the bust. Obviously, I couldn't throw that away. When you executed your search, all I could do was try and hide the bust. And the only place that I could hide it quickly was under this wheelchair. Ms. Von Karma, you had things all figured out, didn't you? I was completely sucked in by your calculated strategy, and now to be caught in the middle of court hiding the murder weapon. There's no way I can escape that. So you've got me. Well done, Mr. Wright. Well done, Ms. Von Karma. It all makes sense now. I can't believe that Von Karma thought that far ahead. It's amazing. You definitely couldn't tell by looking at her. I know I sure couldn't. I can't believe it. Me, make a mistake. Why did I order a surprise search of your room? If only I hadn't done that. It seems we finally arrived at the truth. Acro, did you kill the ringmaster of the Berry Big Circus, Mr. Russell Berry? Yes, Your Honor. I'm responsible for that crime. Acro. Acro. Agro. All my brother wanted was for Regina to like him. That's why he teased her. One day my brother sprinkled some pepper on Regina. He started sneezing so hard, you couldn't help yourself from laughing. That's why Regina thought it'd be funny to get him back in the same way. And that's why she covered the scarf with pepper. I know she didn't mean for anything bad to happen. I know this. She just wanted to make my brother sneeze a few times, too. But I just couldn't forgive her, no matter what. What am I truly guilty of? I'm guilty of never ever being able to understand her. Your brother became a star. Regina believes in that so purely. That she would laugh innocently when saying it, too innocently. I just couldn't stand it, no matter how hard I tried. That's when you decided to do something about Regina. How dreadful. So are you saying that you are a victim in all of this as well? No, that's not what I mean. I'm nothing but a murderer. That's who I am. At first, I thought I'd kill myself. Then I pondered giving myself up. But I couldn't just up and leave. I just couldn't. Not yet. That's why I tried to pin this on Max. Max, I'm so sorry. I just couldn't up and leave yet. This has been such a strange case. The game knows! It's almost a reflection of the circus itself. I'm an idiot. I can't believe it. You beat me again. Dummkopf. Ja, du essen Scheiße, Dummkopf. I believe this case is now beyond any point of possible discussion. Thus, I'd like to declare my verdict. Thank you, A-Dog Gaming, for the 27 months. Welcome back. This court is adjourned. We did it. Honestly, overall, that case was so ridiculous that it was kind of fun. It was absurd, but in kind of an entertaining way. But to be honest, I can't really be too happy about this. Acro, the ringmaster, Regina, and Bat. Not a single one of them was a bad person inside, huh? That's a good question, and one I don't know the answer to. Many congrats, but only at max. 1,000,000 of them. Thank you. What's with the vibe in this room? We're just thinking about Acro. No. If you worry about people too much, then you'll be like this forever and never be happy. Huh? Wah. He's been like this for a while now. It's all my fault. Wah. Sweetie pie. Bat and Acro, they're never coming back. Now everyone's gonna split up. Mr. Wright, tell me something. What do you want to know, Regina? Uh-oh. I'm gonna need to pick an item for True End. Acro said something right at the end. I couldn't just up and leave yet. Does that mean that Acro... is he gonna try and get his revenge on me? I don't think so. He's not gonna do that to you, Regina. Are you sure? You're really sure? I can believe that? Yep, Acro doesn't have any desire for revenge anymore. If that's true, then I want to see some evidence. I want to know you're not just making up that stuff about Acro not wanting revenge. Shit, she got me. The badge? Okay.
Take that!
So what about this? Now do you understand there's no need to worry? Wow, you were lying to me. No one ever tells me the truth. No one ever tells me what's going on. Dope. Looks like I made a mistake with that one. I'm okay. Poor Regina. Hey, Max. What is it, Mo? We really put you through a lot, didn't we, buddy? I'm sorry about what happened. So whatever you'd like to leave us, I'll pay your fee and rip up the contract. I understand. What a fabulous thing to do for me. I might even leave tomorrow. What's going to happen to the circus now? That's the big question. Our ringmaster was really an amazing person, wasn't he? Even though he's not here anymore, everyone is sticking together. The staff, the performers, no one wants to leave the circus. That's why I've made a decision. What is it? I've decided that I will take over as the new ringmaster. I'll turn the circus into the best circus this world has ever seen. The best circus the world has ever seen? But don't laugh. That's quite the goal. Yay, I can't wait. And I guess that changes things. There's only one thing the best circus the world has ever seen needs. The world's best illusions. Which means the circus needs the best magician the world has ever seen. Let's work together and make our circus super fabulous. What do you say, big guy? I don't know what to say. All I can say is thank you. Regina, you're gonna help them out too, aren't you? I don't know. Maybe the circus would be better off without me. What are you talking about, Regina? Why do you think that I brought you to court today? We've got to work together to make the Berry Big Circus bigger than it's ever been. Mo's right, sweetie pie. It can't be the Berry Big Circus without Regina Berry. Max. Nick, it seems like everything is going to turn out alright here. I can't wait to see the best circus the world has ever seen. We'll save you the most fabulous seats. It'll take us a while to get ready, but I'm going to order special whoopee cushion seats. Ha 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 ha. End me. I see. What made the case? Yesterday's surprise raid. It really paid off, just like you said it would, sir. You had it all figured out, didn't you? It was Edgeworth. If Acro really was the killer, I thought this was the only way it could end. Especially if he was the defense attorney. You mean Mr. Wright? Of course. Well, Detective, my plane is about to leave. As for Mr. Acro's case, you need not worry. I plan to personally stop by the Chief Prosecutor's office as soon as I get back. Hey, it's Edgeworth. I'll be waiting for you, Mr. Edgeworth. Aw, shit. In blue. Honestly, absurd as fuck case, but pretty good overall. Alrighty, I guess we will start that one tomorrow. Boop. But I need to bounce a Rooney, chat. Thank you, Hydange, for the 47 months. Welcome back. Don't I mean Monday? No, I mean Sunday. Tomorrow. Thank you, chat. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for all the subs, follows, bits, lurkers, and chatters. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to throw a raid at someone's face, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. I love you. Thanks for making Phoenix Wright a blast. See you soon. I'm gonna raid Shiny Zenny. I haven't raided him in a while. He's a super cool Super Metroid speedrunner. It's a cool game to watch go fast. Bye-bye, chat. Take it easy.